people around the world wonder about. There is a very famous photograph of you with Zhao Jian at Tiananmen Square in 1989. What lesson did you take from your experiences in dealing with that problem in 1989?
我可能会利用您的对我的这种好感，再提一个世界上很多人都在想的一个问题，也就是很多人都还记得在89年的时候，您在天安门广场的一张照片。我想了解的是，那么您从处理89事件当中吸取了什么样的教训？
我觉得我们国家在推进经济改革、经济体制改革的同时，必须继续推进政治体制改革。我们的发展应该是全面的发展，我们的改革也应该是全面的。
I believe that while moving ahead with the economic reforms, we also need to advance political reforms. As our development is comprehensive in nature, our reform should also be comprehensive.
其实你的问题核心是关心中国民主政治的发展。
I think the core of your question is about the development of democracy in China.
我以为中国民主政治发展无外乎在3个方面要有所进展。
I believe when it comes to the development of democracy in China, we talk about progress to be made in 3 areas.
第一，就是要逐步完善民主选举制度，使国家政权真正属于人民，真正为人民来服务。
Number 1, we need to gradually improve the democratic election system so that the state power will truly belong to the people and state power will be used to serve the people.
第二，必须完善法治，依法治国，建设法治国，使司法保持独立和公正。
Number 2, we need to improve the legal system, run the country according to law, and establish the country under the rule of law. And we need to build an independent and just judicial system.
第三，政府必须接受群众的监督，这就要做到政务公开，特别是要接受包括新闻媒体在内各方面的监督。
Number 3, government should be subject to oversight by the people, and that will call on us to increase transparency in government affairs. And particularly, it is also necessary for government to accept oversight by the news media and other parties.
When I go to China and I'm in the hotel, and if I type in the words Tiananmen Square in my computer, I get a firewall, what some people call the Great Firewall of China. Can you be an advanced society if you don't have freedom of information to find out information on the internet?
中国的互联网
China now has over 200 million internet users.
中国互联网
And the freedom of internet in China is recognized by many, even from the West.
许多人所公认。
Nonetheless, to uphold state security, China, like many countries in the world, has also imposed some proper restrictions.
必要的限制。
And that is for the safety, that is for the overall safety of the country and for the freedom of the majority of the people.
我也可以告诉你，你可以在
I can also tell you on the internet in
看
China,
到许多直接
you can have access to a lot of postings that are quite critical about the government.
What are your favorite sites?
I browsed a lot of internet websites.
May I ask you about another set of possible talks? The Dalai Lama has said now, it appears, that he would accept China's rule in Tibet. He accepts the socialist system in Tibet, and what he asks for is cultural autonomy and a certain degree of political autonomy. The talks apparently are stuck at a lower level between the Tibetans and the Chinese government. Why don't you, given your power and your negotiating skills, take the issue yourself, and you or President Hu Jintao were to negotiate directly with the Dalai Lama and solve this issue once and for all for the benefit of the Chinese people and of course the Tibetan people who are also in China.
他在世界许多地
In
方
many places all over the world, the Dalai Lama keeps preaching about the idea of the so-called autonomy in the Greater Tibetan region.
要利用宗教
And actually, the so-called autonomy that he pursues is actually to use religion to intervene in politics.
很多美国人
And they want to separate the so-called Greater Tibetan region from the motherland.
大张旗袍
And many people in the United States have no idea how big is the so-called Greater Tibetan region.
云南
The so-called Greater Tibetan region, preached by the Dalai Lama, actually covers Tibet, Sichuan, Yunnan, Qinghai, and Gansu, altogether 5 provinces. And the area covered by the so-called Greater Tibetan region accounts for a quarter of China's territories.
几十年来，我们对
For decades, our policy towards the Dalai Lama remains unchanged.
只要他
That is, as long as the Dalai Lama is willing to recognize that the Tibet is an inalienable part of China's territory, and as long as the Dalai Lama gives up his separatist activities, we are willing to have contact and talks with him or his representatives.
这种商谈的
Now,
结果
sincerity holds the key to producing result out of the talks.
What action would you like to see from the Dalai Lama that would show sincerity?
其实
Actually, I already made it clear that when we observe any individual, the Dalai Lama included, we should not only observe what he says, but also watch what he does.
他的诚意
His sincerity can be demonstrated in giving up separatist activities. But then, everything depends on the development of the situation.